Ah, hello everyone. I think I made it. Um, Welcome everybody. Please let me know if you see me because it is this is my first English live on Facebook that I do, and it's also the first time that I use the computer. So if anyone is there, and if you can please write a comment, I would very much appreciate it. Oh, hello Mirella. Wonderful, we're on. Great. I'm just gonna wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes before we start. You can start saying hello. Um, yeah, before I start, though, I would like to say a huge thank you very much to Bridges of Light, of course to Gaetano to have created such a wonderful platform where we can all interact and share whatever we're passionate about. And then thank you also for all the team, to everybody I've been interacting with so far. Alessia, Sabrina, I probably forgot other ones, Veronica and Pamela, which I knew before as well, and everybody else. And thank you for everybody who is joining us today here. I am, for who doesn't know me, Luca Occelli. I am a holistic counselor, a metaphysical counselor. And hello, Avalo. Hello, Antonella. And tonight, in this hour we're spending together, we are going to be talking about love, presence, and awareness. What are they? And how could they help us to see the hidden gift? Hello, Sabrina. Before we start talking about the subject of the evening, hello, May. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to tell you something about myself. I guess some of you don't know me at all. So I'll try and be quick. I'm not going to give you my whole life story. But it's important, I believe, that I tell you the reason why I'm here. I am here doing what I'm doing because life happenings. I want to unbutton the shirt, but it looks like then I get it naked. But anyway, yes, I'm here because things happened in my life that literally pushed me, so to speak, to question myself on the topics we are covering tonight, on what is actually love, what is presence, and what is awareness. You probably have guessed. I'm at the moment I'm in London because I live between London and Italy, but I'm Italian. You probably wouldn't think that I've been living in London, believe it or not, for about 30 years. It was 1990 when I came to London. But I don't think I'll ever lose my Italian accent. Yeah, I'm here because I grew up in a small village in Italy, south of Turin, actually between Turin and the coast. And Savona is the city on the coast. And I'm right in between. It's a very small village called Farigliano. At the age of 20 years old, I moved to London. And here in London, because I'm curious by nature and I like to explore things, and also B, because my family situation in Italy wasn't really great, in the sense that my mom wasn't really feeling good at all. She was actually depressed, addicted to psycho drugs, and but psychologically she was okay. So because I wanted to escape and because I was curious, I came to London, and I learned how to drink a lot, which is easy in England to learn how to drink. But I also learned how to take drugs, and I mean many drugs. So I started to have a very unhealthy lifestyle. Then You see, then already I've heard something that now I know the meaning of. At the time, I remember thinking, wow, this is just a weird coincidence. I remember once my mom, she was talking to me and she told me, you know what, Luca, my biggest wish is to die. If it wasn't because of you and your brother, I don't want to live anymore. And now I know, asking is given, it's a truth. In fact, at the age of 47, I was 25 at the time, she transitioned, she died. And there was one more reason for me to go heavy on the drinks and on the drugs. But something happened, and that is the reason why I'm here. Something happened in 2002, which was 6 years after the death of my mom. I was in London, and this happened 2 weeks after I'd been run over by a car because I'd taken lots of drugs, and I was crossing the road in central London, and a car came after a curve, and of course just saw me right after it. So it got me right head on. So I smashed my head against the windshield. It looked like a brick had been smashed on it. And I fell on the pavement, but I was totally unharmed. This wasn't just the only thing that happened to me, dangerous, but that didn't really leave me harmed. About 2-3 years before in Italy, I had 2 major car accidents, destroyed 2 cars, but again, I was fine. I was completely unharmed. In 2000, in London, I spent the night in jail because I was driving under the effect of alcohol. So, 2 weeks after having been run over by a car, it was 8 o'clock in the evening. I was in a bar. I just got in a bar in central London in the West End. I hadn't drank yet, and I hadn't taken any drugs, so I was sober. And this guy that didn't know me, that I didn't know, approached me and told me, listen, I am a medium. I have to speak to you. And I remember thinking, what? But something told me, listen. And I remember feeling goosebumps all over my body. And he told me, there is someone here, could be your mom, 6 years after her death. She wants me to tell you that she's absolutely fine. Hello, Helen. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Annalisa. Hello, Silvia. Sorry, I just realized that I can read here on the computer as well. Everything is scrolling down. So he told me, someone here, could be your mom. She wants me to tell you that she's absolutely fine. She would come down to help you in an instant, like she's always done. But it's time for you to take responsibility of your life and to change your lifestyle. And be careful from today up to the next 2 weeks not to drink and drive and not to get into cars with people that have been drinking. He didn't ask me for money. I haven't seen him since. That encounter totally changed my life. I am not here to be evangelistic. I'm not here to tell people what there is before or after death or whatever else. But my message is that I intentionally chose to believe that what that guy told me was true. I totally stopped believing in death. I don't believe in death. I truly believe, yes, it is a science of Rina. I totally believe that life carries on. This is not the end of the life, the physical one. And I remember feeling straight away like wonderful. well, that night I cried actually. I was in the West End in Soho, and I used to live in Stoke Newington. So I walked from there home. It took me about over 2 hours, and I was just crying for joy. And then I went home, and literally, but with a very, very daring attitude, I looked up and I went, hey, if there's someone out there, help me out. I want to change. Hello, Lola. And everything literally shifted. I mean, truly. And this is my first invitation. My main message to anybody, it's the main message that I give to everybody always is to recognize the relationship that we have, each one of us, with, I like to call it life. Some people call it God, some people call it universal intelligence, some people call it spirit. I just like to keep it generic and say life. But when we literally start to communicate with life, with pure intention, gosh, literally, I mean, then of course we have to work, but anything we want happens, and we just meet the people, the circumstances. I remember after that encounter, when I literally, what I did, hello Hermana, hello Mariella, after that encounter, I started to have this very strong, deep, and very real relationship with life itself. And like every relationship, though, it has to be nourished. I remember, in fact, that soon after what happened, I felt I was on a high, literally on a natural high, probably simply because to me, hearing that my mom, her essence was still somewhere and existed, was just like so mind-blowing, that I was feeling on a high. And that's probably also why I didn't really even want to take drugs. I was feeling even better than when I had been taking drugs. But this feeling, after a few weeks, started to diminish. And then I remember thinking, how could I boost up this feeling? Because also, when I realized that I was feeling so well, and it wasn't my imagining, I made a pact with life itself. I said, from now on, I would do anything possible to remain in this state of being naturally, and I would love, it was almost like a promise, it's almost like I want to give back something. And I would love to be able to do something with what I found. And well, there was 2002, 2020, 18 years after, here I am. So, but yes, these strong, powerful sensations and emotions started to fade. And I was thinking, how could I keep it up? And I remember meeting this girl, this Indian girl, and she mentioned meditation to me. So I enrolled in a meditation course, by the way, here in London with the Brahma Kumari Center, and it was amazing. And from then, my journey began. So then everything that was personal development, spirituality, I was just hungry for it. In 2005, I literally by coincidence almost, I stumbled upon, hello Alessia, hello Lola, I stumbled upon reconnective healing. So I became a practitioner. I still am a practitioner. And then a few years later, the Reconnection asked me, would you like to come and work with us, become a mentor? So I became a mentor for the Reconnection. I worked all over the world doing reconnective healing seminars. And then I stopped in 2014 because from 2010, I started studying metaphysics. In the meantime, by the way, I studied, of course, NLP, EFT. 2 years ago, I qualified as a hypnotherapist here in London, MDMR, I practice as well. But long studies, as long studies, I mainly studied metaphysics with the School of Metaphysics. And by the way, hello May, Flynn, and Wendy Ludon. They are my colleagues. They're also teachers. I work with them. We teach courses at the School of Metaphysics. So because I started to study metaphysics in 2010, in 2005, I had to do all the exams to become a metaphysical counselor and a facilitator. So I left the Reconnection and I started to practice as a holistic counselor. Then I wanted to know what was or what had happened to me, but also how could I help others on a psychological, let's say more scientific, in a more scientific way. Although to me, psychology and spirituality, metaphysics, they're just different facets of the same, let's say, diamond, of the same thing. And so I started to study university, and I studied 5 years. I studied university. I got a master in clinical psychology. I actually graduated just a year ago, and so this is how I got there, basically. And hello, Emanuela. Yes, going back to what we are talking about tonight. And by the way, now you can start anytime, because I like these meetings always to be interactive. So you can comment. I hope I can keep up with you, but so far so good. But also ask questions, okay? Because there's one thing that doesn't really turn me on is to always be speaking to myself. One of the reasons why I chose this title as a first title, Love, Presence and Awareness, is because, which I don't know if you can see it, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm so feel emotionally overwhelmed by being able to share what I'm passionate about regularly on such a huge platform. And to me, this is what this is about. This is what we are all here to actually do and explore. And when I was thinking about the title, I was thinking, which one should go first? Love, presence, or awareness? I personally believe that it doesn't matter. And something else that I also want to tell you. Everything that comes out from this mouth, it is no more and no less than my opinion based on my personal experience, and of course on what I studied, what I know, and so on and so forth. But by all means, I really don't think it's the truth at all. So I just always invite you to put to the test everything I say, and especially if I say I invite you to. And then if you ever do something that I suggested to you to do, and if you find that it didn't work, I am the first one that I would love to know why. And so I can then question myself as well. Because I truly believe that I can't see you, but I can read you, but I can feel you, believe me. I am talking to an extension of myself. And I invite you to consider the fact that you are actually talking and seeing and hearing an extension of yourself. We literally are all one. You know, when I started to understand what is real true love, as I said before, when I started this relationship with life, hello Avalon, and I mean, hello Maria, and I mean, yes, and this love allows us to be present with awareness, yes. When I started to love life and everything and everybody, you know how is it? Why? You know why I actually managed to turn my life around so drastically? It is simply because, and it took me years to understand what actually happened. But what happened is, to summarize it, it's actually reside in the first 2 steps of the 12 steps program of the AA, the Alcoholistic Anonymous. You know, it's a worldwide organization that deals with people with addictions. And the first point, and also I suggest always to do this process to people that they want to better their life, even if they're not addicted to a substance, but they're probably addicted to their mental conditioning, and that's why they suffer. So the first step that would allow us probably to experience what is love, presence, and awareness, if we are not living happily, is to acknowledge that we have a problem. I remember I told myself after I met that guy, yes, I want to change. Yes, I do have a problem. You see, sometimes people don't change. Sometimes our life doesn't get better because we do not realize we have a problem. We do not realize there's something to change. And for example, people that they are addicted to alcohol or to drugs, that is actually the biggest obstacle. Normally they don't admit they have a problem. So if you don't admit you have a problem, you can't deal with it. You'll never get rid of it. So that's step number one. Step number two is to recognize that we don't have to know all the answers. We don't have to know how and why, and we don't even have to know to have the energy. I remember so vividly, literally going, "Hey, help me!" And I literally, in my head, I was thinking, I have trust now in others. In myself, I really didn't have trust, but I had trust in others. I had trust in life itself and in whatever else. And yes, and that is called surrender in a spiritual way. When we realize that we are more than who we believe we are, that what we can see, our body, our materialistic self, we literally connect to something greater, to life itself. And then we start understanding what the true meaning of love is. But at the same time, because I really think they're also interwoven and interconnected, we also understand what is presence and what is awareness. Veronica, yes, trust the process. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Talking about love. By the way, please write, what is love for you? Can anybody give me a few definitions, so to speak? What is love? Hello, Gaetano. How are you? How would you define love? Synthetically, I mean, don't write a poem. And then I'll tell you why I'm curious about this question. Hello, Mel. How are you? What do you do when someone doesn't support your spiritual path? What do you mean? Okay, Mel is asking, what do you do when someone doesn't support your spiritual path? Thank you, Mel. Now, then let me know if I'm answering your question correctly. This is what I am interpreting your question. So you say, what do you do when someone doesn't support your spiritual path? Which it could happen, absolutely. Okay, I invite everybody, unless you're already doing it. And I guess many of you are already quite, let's say, advanced in your spiritual development. But of course, I don't know. I'm new in this platform. But from what I see, the level of awareness is very high. Although, yes, we could have a spiritual consciousness. We may want to better our life and we have faith. But other people, yes, could not support us. Could not, Evelo says living. Yes, yeah, this is a way. But other people may not support you. In that way, actually, yes, they can maybe interfere if you allow them to. What I invite you to do, what I actually did myself, because yes, I didn't actually have much support at the time at all. In fact, then my quest started. But I was so angry and so eager. Okay, I was desperate, but I was also very, very passionate about it when I saw that everything could shift. So I decided that I chose that my first true, and I'm serious, my first true relationship was with life. You can call it God, you can call it spirit, whatever you want it. But that was my first relationship. And that it still is, really. And that is the only one that I am accountable to, which is myself, but everything and everybody and life itself. There's a quote, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes she said, I think it's Maria Teresa of Calcutta or somebody, and I read it, I thought, yes, it does make sense. People may betray you, may not like what you do, keep doing it. Don't expect their validation. The only true relationship that you have is the one that you have with God, or life, if you don't like the word God, or with spirit. That is the only one. If you come from a place of integrity and purity, really, on a human level, anybody can come against you, but you are, it might be challenging, but you are almost unfazed. Now, I give you an analogy, which I know it seems, but I think that's what it is. Jesus Christ, okay? For its time, he was considered to be an absolute rebel, right? And but he was standing his ground. He was saying things that everybody, in fact, he was crucified, wasn't it? But he was so centered in his relationship with spirit, with life, that was nurturing so much. But on a practical level, like I think Avalor was saying or whatever, yes, Mel, if people, okay, there's people that you can't avoid. If it's somebody you live with or somebody you work with, that's okay. I mean, but you have to probably share time and space with them. If it's somebody that you can choose, maybe not to spend so much time with, I truly believe that when we become conscious and intentional about how we like to live and be able to experience and express love, it's important to know that, I mean, life is infinite and energy on a spiritual level is infinite, but on this earthly plane, no. Energy is not infinite and time is not infinite. So if I dedicate time to somebody that doesn't resonate with me, I am depriving myself, but also the other part of myself, which is somebody else, that actually resonate with me and that we can actually experience love to a different level. So this is to say that when we decide to live intentionally and coming from a space of love, to know what we want and who we choose to spend time with, it's important. Having said that, there's no need to judge negatively these persons or to get upset about it. Because, and this is when awareness and presence really are useful. Even the person that doesn't support our spiritual path, and maybe even the person that behaves with us in a way that we may not like, they are love. They do come from a space of love. You know what I think love is? I believe love is everything. Love is a combination. I think it's somebody, Helen was saying, love is a combination of many things which support your happiness. I totally agree, Helen. And you know what? I also believe that love in this reality also manifests as things that they don't support our happiness. In other words, we could choose to believe that life happens to us, okay? And that concept already makes us feel like things come to us and we have to be strong and create resistance. But what we resist persists and gets stronger. I invite everyone, always, or from now on forever, to it's just a mindset. But I invite you to embrace this mindset. Life happens for you and through you. Can you feel the difference? Life happens through us and for us. what does that do, this mindset? Allows me and us, if we do it, to change my attitude toward what happens, even towards somebody that is not supporting my spiritual growth, even somebody that is behaving in a way that I may have not liked or appreciate 5 minutes before, but now I'm thinking, hey, he is love. And I'm aware of who he or she or they truly are. So I know easier said than done, but it can be done. But it allows me to be more present, meaning be more in the here and now and not in my judgment, not in my complaining about what they're doing, what they're saying. And because also I'm aware, awareness is consciousness, is knowledge that can be used in challenging situations. So I may then really look at a person, but already if my attitude changes, I am actually considering them as something that is happened for me and for my evolution. So I may even want to consider him or them or her or whoever as a master. What are they teaching me? What is it that I can share with this other part of myself, with the other person? And you know what? Again, attitude is everything. This to me is actually alchemy in action. This transmutes the energy that is between us and that person. Basically, the relationship we have changes. It goes from being a conflictual relationship to being a collaborative relationship. And the other person may not even know what we are doing, but at a very, very deep, but very real level, subconscious, but also very super conscious, at the soul level, they can feel it. They know it. And you know what will happen? That either these people that we are now considering as being worthy of love and even our love and our presence, either they are willing, consciously or unconsciously, to join us, meaning to raise their vibrational level with ours, or if they're not ready or they don't want to, or for whatever reason, you know what, we are going to be parting each other like oil and water, but peacefully. Nothing needs to sometimes not even be said. It's amazing as how certain dynamics are playing out. I'm just going to read the comments now. Mel, just let me know if I more or less, if I interpreted your question right and if I more or less answered it. Avalanche said, we have to be free to grow. Absolutely, I agree, yes. And if somebody is actually keeping you, let's say, bounding you in some way, and you can't grow, yes, I mean, really keep clear of these people. If you fall in love with yourself, you may find love outside you. Absolutely, yes, because you're right. What the outside world is the perfect reflection, manifestation, projection of our inner consciousness. So unless we love ourselves unconditionally, again, easier said than done, but possible, it's a journey, we would not be able to love others unconditionally. So yes, self-love is at the base of everything, because ultimately the word is in here, definitely here in our heart and in our soul, but everything is filtered through our mind. So how we perceive the world and ourselves, it's through our mindset. But of course, we're all being conditioning growing up to believe certain things that sometimes they don't really help us to know what true love is. Sabrina says, love is acceptance and compassion. Absolutely. Mariella, hello, Mariella says, love, oh, sorry, why can I say, oh, love is the biggest meaning of this word. Yes. Love myself to have a positive view of life, have good relationships, love the nature, all the things which makes me feel well. I mean a combination of respect, peace, and happiness. Totally agree. Veronica says, life happens for us. Yes. Avalon, yes, everything is a lesson. Veronica says, us. May says, love is all we are, but we block the flow. Absolutely. Yes, May, you're absolutely right. If we weren't resisting it, we would just feel so much love, because love is literally is everywhere. It's not even a matter of learning how to love, it's a matter of allowing ourselves to feel it. Sabrina said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Yeah, John Lennon, very true. This is to be stopped. We need to be aware and present. Yes. Wendy says, let them be out. Wendy says to Mel, let them be, Mel. If they don't support your path, they aren't meant to. Expectations, beautiful. I agree. Veronica say, love is a deep feeling of peace and ease. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes, when we feel love, we feel at ease, at peace. When we feel present as well, we are at ease. When we are aware as well, we are at ease. What love is not is romantic love. You know, I really think that culturally we are everybody very much conditioned to believe that what we call romantic love is real love, but actually, no. It is a part of it, but it's not the whole story. That is actually fueled by desire. So instead of saying I love you, I think we would be more truthful if we were saying I desire you. Can you see the difference? But if I desire somebody, I'm attached to them. And in fact, what does happen in romantic relationship normally? It's a very challenging game, so to speak, because I meet you, for example, and I fall in love with you, and you meet me and you fall in love with me. Great, we feel amazing, and we feel on a high. But we actually, what gives us the high, it's not you or me, because how could we fall in love, truly in love, because love is present in awareness? How could I know you and you me in such a short amount of time and feel the high? What we're falling in love is our expectations, our projections, our needs. In fact, normally, if either of us starts not to satisfy each other's expectations, oh boy, normally we go from idealizing somebody and there being our biggest god and biggest idol to become our worst enemy. You see, that's not love. That's a trade. We would be much more honest if we were saying, I trade you this if you trade me that. You see? But hey, nothing wrong with that. That's how culturally we've all structured it. But that is a systemic kind of love. It's a trade. I give you, you give me. Spiritual love, it's something different. Spiritual love understands that even when and if you don't satisfy my expectations, I know that you are loved, that there's everything in you, that you are able to behave in any given moment like you choose. And because I love you and I'm aware of the love I feel for you and who you are, I let you free. But why? Because I can't remember who, I think Evelyn or somebody was saying, but I can do that if I am first in love with myself. But we're not talking here about egotistic love, talking about I know myself and I am so at peace and happy with myself, within myself, and I am so non-judgmental towards myself, meaning all my small parts, like the selfish part, the bossy part, the generous part. I know I've got them all. I know I am complete, and I don't need anybody else to make me complete. I can experience everything I want. Then I can love you unconditionally, because I don't need you to show me something that I don't yet know about myself. May say, Veronica say, love is a deep feeling of peace and ease. Yes. May says, love for others helps us stay in our own power and not rely on others for love. Sorry, love for ourselves helps us stay in our own power, yes, and not rely on others for love and acceptance. Self-love is reflected back. Absolutely, yes. Thank you, May. Absolutely. The others are always a reflection of what we have inside. If others are giving us, are loving us in a way we like and we appreciate and is nourishing us, and we can feel that, is because, yes, like May wrote, is because we are generating that first, and then it becomes a reflect, then it becomes a dance, but it's between two loving entity. There's no imbalance in between that. Perfect. Oh, Mel said perfect, Luca. Thank you. I'm glad I answered your questions. I will not say fear is the enemy of love. Yes. Mariella, fantastic. Yes, I need you. Oh, you just remind me. You know what? I've been using this quite a lot lately, and I've had many of them. So I wasn't really meant to use it now, but this. Who wrote fear is the enemy of love? Avalon, you gave me the idea of showing everybody something. One of the reasons I believe that we find difficult to love unconditionally is because we believe in duality. We believe in two powers. We believe that some people, somebody are worthy of being loved because they're good, because we believe in a positive power, let's say God, and we believe in negativity, in the devil. Okay, this is a story. This is the biggest illusion mankind could have invented. But one thing at a time. But it's not really an illusion. Mankind hasn't invented it out of, again, negativity. If you think about it, and that's also why it's difficult for us to love sometimes. Unless we really embark, well, it was for me anyway, before I embarked in my spiritual journey, which is before I met this man that told me, oh, your mom is here and so on and so forth. And I thought, oh, wait a moment, there's more to life that I thought of. Before then, I truly believed that I was me, Luca, you see, my body is here and you guys are there and everything outside is actually outside of me. So life was competitive, and I actually believed that there was a positive force, a God, and there was a devil. So there was conflict, okay? But because of course we think we are divided, and of course religions and so on and so forth tell us that there's negativity, but also unless we are present and really see what's behind somebody's behaviors, which somebody, let's say, can behave in a way that it's, let's say, abrupt or aggressive, if we base ourselves just on what we see without adding awareness to it and presence, we would actually think, no, it's a nasty person, because again we are fooled into physicality, what we see, but there's a spiritual reality which is different. But even even in this world of form, we know now, and it's science, that we are all energetically connected with each other. Now let me show you this bar. Some of you have seen it and know it, but okay, just tell me, somebody just right there. Can you see? This is light, right? The bar here is light gray, and this is dark gray. Do you all agree? Can everybody see it? The bar is two-colored, right? This is light, and this is dark. Can you all see it? Now let's say this is good. Okay, let's say this is good. Thank you, Mel. This is good and this is bad. This is light and this is dark, right? Now, let me show you something. But I have to do it in front of you, otherwise you might be thinking, oh, it's fooling us somehow. I'm gonna fold the sides. Can you see now? the bar is the same color. It's not two colors. Can you see? It's just because it's in relation to the background, which is a different shade, that it looks, it's an optical illusion. But even in the world of, everywhere in the universe, there's plenty of this illusion. You know, the Indian call about this world, this physical world, being the world of Maya. It is like Tao, exactly. The yin and the yang, exactly. The world of Maya, which is an illusion. But going back to love and hate, okay, this could be love and this could be hate. But love and hate are different degrees of the same energy. Fear, it's what is at the base of aggressiveness, of anger. Someone that is aggressive, somebody that, even to kill somebody, it's somebody that is committing an act of love ultimately. I know it doesn't seem that way. That's what I mean. That's why awareness and presence are really important for us to understand, because that person is fearful. That's why he's angry. It's fearful. He wants to protect something. He wants to, hello Marco, he wants to protect something or someone or an idea. But even if it's just an idea, it's because that idea for him is fundamental for something or somebody to survive. And these things are important. So hate, it's no more nor less than love expressed in a dysfunctional way. Like hot and cold, you see, minus 300 degrees or plus 300 degrees. Again, it's not, we call it cold and hot, but it's just different degrees of the same energy. In fact, dry ice, which is very, very cold ice, burns you. If you touch it, it scalds you, it burns you just like fire. Because again, ultimately, at a very basic level, in the energy, in the universe, the basic energy, it's one. And it is always love. And it's important, that's when awareness it comes in, because if we're not aware of this, like before I started my journey, I was not aware of any of this. So I could have not loved like I love now, because I didn't know. This is important when we are maybe encountering other people that, because they're not aware of whatever we are talking about, they may actually behave very abruptly, very aggressively, but they have no awareness of really who they are, what they're doing, how anything works. And then it becomes, let's say, our responsibility to see that, to honor that, to respect that, because you know, respect is also love, and to love them wherever they are. Again, it doesn't mean we have to spend time with them. What, you know what I mean? You can choose to do what you want. But this is to say that we don't need to get angry or get upset. In fact, whenever we alter ourselves emotionally in an angry way, we are not totally aware. I know, easier said than done, but believe me, if we were always able to be present and aware, there would be no reason ever for us to feel angry or upset. Trust me. Trust me. I just want to see what is written here. Mariella said, Mariella, the meeting between two souls, the universe has decided. Fantastic. Yes, absolutely. I do believe there is an intelligence that knows much more than we know. Ellen say yes, thank you. Sabrina, it's like the Tao. Yes, the yin and the yang, the alpha and the omega. Avalo, yin yang, the opposite pole that make a unity. The energy has no color. We give an interpretation of our dial mind or our dual. Yes, yin yang, the opposite pole that make a unity. The energy has no color. We give an interpretation of, our dual mind does it, absolutely, yes. Our mind interprets everything. Our mind, it's giving meaning machine, so to speak, and he believes in opposite, in polarity. He says, oh, one polarity is black, one polarity is white, and so, and it's always fluctuates in between them. This is the demonstration of our mind fool us. Yes, our mind does fool us, because our mind and our focus, it's always concentrating on something in particular. I'm gonna do something, I know we only had 8 minutes, but it's gonna last just 1 or 2 minutes, but we're gonna do something together. Mel says, okay, Luca, so how do we respond with love, presence and awareness to the situation happening in America? How do we put our love energy to support challenging events? Thank you. Great questions. How do we respond with love, presence and awareness to the situation happening in America? How do we put our love energy to support challenging events? Evelo says, do not react, act. Veronica says exactly, yes. Do you know what I believe? Any problems, any challenge cannot be solved at the same level of the challenge. I think Einstein said that, but it's very true, and he wasn't a genius for nothing. Okay, we have two parties, they are in conflict of each other, okay? Now, if we stay in the same level where they are, which let's say a level 2 system, will never ever solve the problem, because we have to go towards one of them or the other, and we polarize the other part, meaning none of them, until they realize what I'm telling you now, will ever solve the problem, because plus and minus, good or bad, what they believe to be, will grow stronger, and the other one goes down, but then it will let the fluctuating of things we've got will be never ending. The cycle never stops. The cycle will stop when we go from level, let's say that level, good or bad, dual level, to another level, which is, let's call it level 2, when we get a meta perspective, and when we become, again, awareness and presence, and then we are able to love, are very important. When we become neutral, meaning we are not polarized or minus or plus, good or bad, we've got no charge in ourselves. We are neutral, meaning we have both of them. We are the alpha and the omega. We know, and how do we do that cognitively? It's not difficult. If I was truly listening to each party, believe me, I would only have to say ultimately, yes, you're right. And then I would listen to the other party, and they would give me their reason. I would have to listen really their reason, and of course their stories and their interpretation, which they might not be like mine, absolutely. This is important. But with their mindset, their beliefs, or what they believe and they've been told to believe, I would only have to say, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. To me, when there's a conflict, each party, it's important for me, if I want to really create a space where a resolution can arise, I have to realize that they both have their good reason, even though if they're distorted reason, but they don't know that. Their reason to believe what they believe and to behave like they behave. So when my energy as a moderator, but you, all of us, but even if we were in the situation, we can do that. When our energy is neutral, which it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean, this is important, that I become aloof or detached. No, it's the opposite. I'm very much like with both of them. When I am neutral, I don't polarize either of them, but I create a space where both of them gets at an energetic level validated without being put up or down or diminished. Things may shift. I don't know if I explained myself clearly enough. You stay in the loop, yes. If you stay in the loop. You have to get outside the loop. Outside the loop. You can never solve it if you are in the ring. You have to go up, get a meta perspective, and then you can see. Monica, how can we stay present and aware when, for example, we suffer from physical pain? Hello, Monica. Yes, that's not easy. It's more challenging to stay present and aware when we suffer from physical pain. It's not easy. I will say shifting. It's not easy, but it is possible. What you do, I would advise anybody that's suffering to become aware of any judgment they might have towards the suffering. If you can drop all your judgment and resistance, and if you can, on a metaphorical level, love it to death, really be open to it, it may diminish. But I don't know who you are referring to and what his or her or their mental attitude is towards the physical illness. But the relationship we have related to anything, even a physical element, is fundamental. Now I've got 2 minutes. Thank you, May, yes, for sharing our wisdom. Thank you. And thank to you also. Working with you allows me also to grow a lot. Evelo say pain, it is the voice of the body. Listen at. Yes, absolutely. True. You can ask yourself, or they could ask themselves, what can I learn from this? One thing, we are not going to do this exercise. We can do it another time. Well, next Wednesday again. If you're here, that would be great. We're going to have another live. The title is going to be Does Life Need a Meaning After All? But all I want you to think about, and then we can do it together and exercise experientially, it's that you can learn and train yourself in any given moment, even now, to be focused on something. Like now I'm looking as if I was looking at you, but to me, I can envision you through the camera. I'm looking in the camera, but at the same time, this is called gazing. I'm focused on it, but at the same time, my awareness is at the periphery of my visual field. I know, for example, that in 2 minutes, 1 minute, we have to say goodbye. I can see 2 lamps, I can see the window, I can see the chair. Basically, gazing, it's what really allows you to elevate your intuitive and also loving ability, because you're not just taken by what is in front of you, meaning somebody experiencing an anger attack, but you're also aware of something that may happen somewhere else that may ground you and let you understand what is really going on. Anyway, 1 minute, we have to go. The Body Keeps the Score, a beautiful book, says that. Yes, Veronica, you're right. Now, thank you so much, everyone. I could keep going on and on and on, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this time as much as I did. To me, it just flew by. 57, yeah, we got 2-3 minutes yet. No, 59, I don't know which one is the right. Because I started 2 or 3 minutes late, that's why. Anyway, ciao everybody. Thank you, and I wish you a great evening. Ciao.